One of the greatest talents of all is the talent to recognize and to develop talent in others. Colin Powell. Hey guys, thank you for joining me. I'm super excited to introduce you guys to our guest today. Her name is Neetu Razdan, founder and CEO of Pointers. Pointers is an augmented space where organizations and individuals excel using a holistic spin on productivity and performance management. Join me in welcoming Neetu. How are you? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Monica. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show. And I am super excited because we're talking about my favorite topic, talent development. Actually, I would say human development. So yeah, I'm doing great. Great to be here.
So happy to have you. So tell us a little bit about your journey into launching Pointers and what, who you are and what caused you to want to launch it.
Absolutely. Well, it's a windy road, but I'll try to make it as straight as possible. So like every one of us, corporate America for majority of my life. Outside of that, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister and a wife. But from the day one, from the beginning of when I got out of school, big school, it was always like a subject of curiosity. And first, it was more focused on my own self. When I felt the need to have, a particular skill set or a tool in my toolbox, I just didn't know how to acquire it. Okay, now I'm done with my undergrad. I'm done with my master. Now what? Now I'm at work. I don't have professors to run to. I don't have, someone to, run to the library and do this. So how do I balance between, getting my day-to-day work done and then also educating myself? And that curiosity kind of slowly got me into recording everything that happened for 17, 18 years of my professional career as an individual developer, as a manager, as a leader. And ultimately, when pandemic hit, I realized there is a need to actually leave everything and focus on this 100%. And that's how Pointers kind of came into being. And Pointers, as you said, it's an augmented space where organizations and individuals actually excel. And how we do that is we give organizations a lens into who their talent is and what are their aspirations, what are their goals, and how that could be kind of amalgamated into what the organization is trying to do and kind of build transparency. It's like a bottoms up, tops down approach. On talent development, where people are on the same wavelength, they understand what's happening, where are they going, where are the gaps, and how they are going to fill those gaps.
I love that. So I love a couple of things that you said, a couple of nuggets in there of, it forced me to think as you were speaking about how I'm super self-reflective and self-aware. And so I think you're that same person, right? Where we're so in tune with ourselves and we know what we need to do to, the curiosity and the growth portions of our life and what makes us yearn to learn more and long to grow and develop and to be into more. I think that's more of a self-awareness type of thing because not everyone's there. But I love when we discussed this last week, you and I met and we talked briefly about, checking a box when we talk about DEI as the latest hype and people, really trying this buzzword and companies and organizations are trying to do their best to really dial into that, but they're doing it from a top down approach versus a bottoms up, which is something that you promote. And I love that your space enables folks to see from all angles. And one of the things that, I do with my team is I, ask them, what does success look like to you? And I think that's super important because it's different for each of us, right? And so what success looks like for Monica Morgan might be very different than what it looks like for Neetu. And so I think that you're absolutely right. And this is spot on. I'm super excited that you've created a platform that enables companies and organizations to be able to view from a different lens or a different angle, if you will. So that's really awesome that you've created this opportunity. You've had some real success with some major organizations adopting this platform, correct?
That's true. And I mean, you're spot on. What success looks like to me might not be the same that it looks like to you. And we are all individuals. The whole definition of individual is there's something unique about you, right? So how do we bring that lens or that approach to talent development. And how do we actually, I think the whole premise was, I'm a professional. I go to work every day, and I have heard this so many times from other leaders, bring your whole self to work. But as leaders, do we have the appetite? As organizations, do we have the appetite to actually, see our talent as a 360 individual? I'm a mom. Sometimes I have to rush, go pick up my kid. My son just broke his foot a couple of weeks ago in the playground at school, and I was in the middle of a meeting, and this is a true story. And the school is calling me. I pick up the phone, and they're like, "You need to come in, and you need to pick your kid up because we are taking him to the hospital, and he has a fracture." I had no other choice. No matter how important that meeting was, I had to go back and say, "Hey, this is what has happened." And this is the whole point of, being yourself. You are an individual that plays multiple roles. And you cannot shut that one role down when you are in the other role. And I think this is very true with females, particularly. I cannot forget if I'm at work that I'm a mother too. I know I have heard this approach from a lot of leaders. When you're at work, just think about work. No, I think we need to change. And post-COVID, we better wake up as Homo sapiens, I guess, that we got to balance everything and support each other and understand that we play so many roles. And how do we support and balance that, at least at work? So, I feel like at work, we need to not just say things, we need to do things as well. And, lead by example, set examples. If I allow my team to do X, Y, Z, then they will allow their own teams to do that. And that is what we call culture, right? Mm-hmm. The guidelines or guiding principles that you follow is what we call culture. And it's 100% up to us how we behave. That's what our people will try to kind of mimic, because they always, and I have always looked up to my leaders since the day I started working. So I think it's very important that we don't say this because, oh my God, we have so many eyes on us. We should actually do it. And we should believe it. They say that, I don't remember the quote completely, but when you are by yourself and you do the right thing, that's what makes you, actually a real person. If the whole world is watching and you're checking the box for that purpose, then, might as well not do it. So I feel like not having that checkbox approach and actually thinking that there are humans involved and they have emotion, they have responsibilities, and we need to actually go in and help out in every way we can to balance out all these aspects.
I love that. There's so many nuggets of what you just said that just resonate with me holistically. And I tried, my hardest with my team to really let them be them and let them come as they are and, be accepting, because as females, there are so many things that we have on our plate. We are moms, wives, daughters, spouses, best friends. There's just a lot of demand. And you're totally right. If I showed up every day and just shut everything else out and was just work, I don't think I would be giving my best self to my organization, because there's so many other qualities that I can bring with me in my other roles that support and foster who I am as a leader. And so I totally agree with that. I do have a question for you. I'm interested, and we didn't talk about this, but I'm curious as to your thoughts. The Great Resignation is a real thing, and we're all seeing and experiencing that. And customer service, in my opinion, is at an all-time low in the world. And it's sad, and it scares me for my grandkids and for my kids. But I'm curious as to your thoughts on, the amount of women that left the workforce during the pandemic, because I think that women are an undervalued resource. That's my own opinion. And I think that workplaces are going to really see a shift as the decline of women in their workforce talent pool have left and they're doing their own things. They're doing great things on their own. But I'm interested in your thoughts of what you think will happen with those organizations that saw that decline, because I'm fearful of it. I think women are great multitaskers, not that men aren't, but we just have always had to be that. And so what are your thoughts on workplace futures with the decline in women's roles there?
And I want to start this with a thought that I always have had. I think it's a privilege to be born as a female. I think it's, I don't have words to explain, how I feel that, I thank God every day in the morning when I pray. I'm like, thank you for making me who I am. And thank you for giving me the power to create life. And I'm not saying that we can do it single-handedly, but it's amazing that, females can do what they can do. And I think they're mentally so much more stronger than their counterparts. I think it was really sad to see that during COVID, so many women, I mean, not just, beginning of their career, people who had well-established careers, 20 years, 30 years in their industry. It was actually really painful and, food for thought. Why did it happen? Again, going back to what I said, because we play so many roles. If my parents needed me, would I worry about my job? No, I would just quit and I would just go take care of them. If my kids needed me, would I worry about my job? No. My husband? No. My family comes first. My family comes first. And I think that was what we were not prepared for. We were not prepared for a pandemic, of course. We were not even prepared for something like this where, workforce, mass exodus from females. And I'm sure, not sure, I know that a lot of men did that too. But, now that I go back in time and think about it, what could have helped them? I think the ability to balance out, the harmony between work and life. I think that was missing. And I think that was the norm of our world pre-COVID, that work. And people do I was at that stage when I just started my career. I would be up like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and up again at 6 and just going crazy. I think we all do that. But I think today's generation is much more aware that they need to live life, that life is short. There are so many things we need to do. And I think all of us should have that mindset that we need to balance out all the aspects of our life. I wish we could have provided, tools for all these females and, male counterparts to actually balance out work, from home. And, leaders and companies were open to that approach. One of the things that we do at Pointers is, as a benefit, we are giving Pointers free, although it's a B2B tool, but once someone leaves or, gets laid off or takes an FMLA or a long-term disability leave or any kind of pregnancy, anything, we are giving them, a version free, nothing paying, particularly females. And of course, anyone taking care of their family or having issues where they cannot be at work, where they can still, create a digital profile, still, log down their goals. It could be personal, it could be professional, and then still have access to learning. And then all of that gets recorded and it kind of starts building their profile even when they're not at work. Because anytime they want to come into workplace again, there is a record of what they did and how they actually enhance their skill set, build new skills, and are ready to jump back into work. I think that gap a lot of times hurts people, particularly females. If I wasn't there for, a year in the workforce and I've tried to get back into the market, it's an uphill task. If you don't have allies or if you don't have sponsors, I don't think so it's going to be easy. So I think having that outlet, or having that ability or that tool is super, super important. And that's one reason I'm so proud of what I've created. Not just that, hey, it's an ecosystem where none of your progress is lost, not that, hey, you can talk to anyone within and outside of the company to get feedback, to actually understand what you're missing and how you can build yourself up. But it also kind of gives you a way to continuously develop and continuously learn, and that information, that data, that whole profile stays with you forever.
I love that. So you used a buzzword that you and I talked about that stuck with me over the weekend, and it was the word allies.
Yes.
And you and I talked about needing allies everywhere. We need allies in our girlfriends. We need allies at work. We need allies with our spouse. We need allies. Yes. And so you're so right with that. I think for women, we do juggle a lot of things. And I was like you, work, eye on the prize, make the money, provide for the family, so career driven and so focused. And the pandemic forced us to slow down, and it forced us to really, nothing's on demand. I talked about this in a previous episode where, I was trying to go get my computer serviced at Best Buy and had to have an appointment. And I tried to go get my new phone at Verizon and I couldn't do it in store. I had to do it online and have it shipped. And so there was just a variety of things that are no longer on demand. And sometimes that can feel frustrating, but I think it's the slowdown that our world needed and we didn't even know. But I think with that slowdown, you're totally right. Women were like, okay, I can't be this and that, and you're not letting me be this and that. So I have to choose. And if I'm going to have to choose, I'm going to choose my family because that's my responsibility. That's the love. That's my life, And so I love that you've created this ecosystem in the space for people to have that. I love that when you and I talked, you talked about how you can show up who you are with your story. It doesn't matter what your past is. It doesn't matter what level you are in your career, that, it's creating the space for you to go and grow and develop and learn and just grow. And so I applaud you for what you've created, and I'm excited to check out more of Pointers myself. I know it's at pointers.me, and I love that it's .me because it's about you, right? It's not about everybody else. So really, really cool.
I love it that you said, hey, actually you noticed that it's pointers.me, and it was very deliberate.
Yeah.
Me, because the focus is on the individual. Everywhere when there's a B2B kind of, this targeting happening, it's always about the organization. So in our case, it is about the organization, but the focus is the individual. Because I feel like, without individuals, without the talent, organization is nothing. It won't exist. And if you talk about Industrial Revolution 4.0, it's all about talent. It's all about skills. It's all about this technology we are using. And for that, you need people who are skilled. So now it's kind of payback time. It's for organizations to focus more on individuals. Versus, individuals going and running, oh my God, can I work for this big, huge company? Can I somehow get into it? Whether they pay me peanuts or they don't pay me at all, I'm fine. No, it's the other way around. It's like big organizations running after talent now and saying, can I get that talented person? Because that is what's going to make me successful. So the whole dynamic has changed. It's literally flipped. It's like upside down now. So I think it's super, super important for us to, innovate, us to, create and make sure we understand where we are going in the future. And the need, actually, Monica, you said, just being me. Me doesn't just include that I want to learn Java, or I want to learn Ruby on Rails, or I want to learn how to be the best sales executive or anything like that. It also means that I am passionate about photography. I am passionate about music. I want to learn guitar. I want to do this. I want to do that. So how do you, or I love volunteering. I volunteer for 4 or 5 organizations and I love it. I'm passionate about, kids. I'm super passionate about seniors. So all that volunteering that's happening, no one is focusing on that. But what we are missing is that is actually helping build such critical skills, for me. So another thing about pointers, which I want to really mention, is it's encouraging individuals to create goals that are, personal, oriented on your personal aspirations. But we also do a lot of, I'm using a technical term, extractions, where we can see, we use AI, a lot of AI, we see what skills are these things that are personal to this individual's building that could be leveraged at work, right? If I was an individual contributor, I probably at work will never be taught as a leader. But if I was volunteering everywhere, creating events and, running these big nonprofits outside of work, those skills could come in and it will build my 360 view, where organizations can be like, she doesn't do it at work, but she has so much experience outside. So if she wants to get into a leadership role, she is ready. So I think, or he is ready. It's for everybody. So I think that is what was missing. And that is what I want to encourage every leader, every organization, and every individual to kind of focus on. Don't hide behind, this is my professional life. No, just be yourself. Just be that this is my life. And I'm sure if one person starts, it's like a movement. One person starts this, the movement grows, right? Everyone wants to be like that. And people feel it's okay to be like that, right? It's just that hiccup or that hump you have to get over. Once that hump is like done or crossed, you're like, okay, this is fine. It wasn't that bad. And we all have been there, no matter who we are, we have all been there. We all started somewhere. But I think it's so important for us as leaders to encourage, the upcoming talent, or even the people who are struggling. I know people who are at my level and they struggle with these concepts. Yeah. But I think encouraging these things is super important.
Well, I love that so much. Unfortunately, we're out of time today, so I definitely want to have you back because you and I could talk all day, I'm sure of it. We've had a couple of good conversations already. But listen, guys, I really encourage you to check out pointers.me. Check out Neetu. We'll have this post up. Any questions that you have, feel free to drop them in the box below. Leave us a message. We're happy to get back to you. Thank you, Neetu, so much for coming. And really, one of the things that I focus on is authenticity. And that's what you're boiling it down to, is be your authentic self, be your true self, show up as who you are, because those talents that you have personally are not always, they can be such a contribute to your growth and who you are as an individual holistically. And I love that approach. So thank you so much for joining us this week. It's been such a pleasure talking with you and having you on the show. Again, guys, if you have any questions, drop us a note in the chat box. Have a great week and take care. Thanks. Hey guys, if you like this episode, please hit like and subscribe.